Hey there YouTube, I'm over at Motorcars Toyota of Cleveland Heights, Ohio again, and today I wanted to tour for you all this 2014 Toyota 4Runner SR5 Premium 4x4. Now the paint finish is called Classic Silver Metallic, no fancy names here. Having the Premium pack has this almost in line with the Limited model, which is the top of the line trim that you can get on the 4Runner. Throughout this truck there's many little goodies such as heated seats, sunroof, a third row seat. So yeah, this thing is pretty loaded. A mild refresh for the 4Runner as this generation commenced in 2010, most noticeably with the taillights, front end. Now unfortunately, the dual overhead cam 4-liter V6 is the only engine of choice. It makes 270 horsepower and it's paired to a 5-speed automatic. Now this 5-speed engine has been around since 2003, so it really is dated. I think Toyota should have upgraded to a 6-speed automatic as many of their other vehicles use. Now with the 2010 model there was a 4-cylinder option. Thankfully Toyota discontinued that engine in 2011. The previous generation 4Runner, the 2003 to 2009 model, it was a very handsome SUV. I even had more heart for it than this current generation. Not that this one is bad, but one thing that made the previous generation more enticing was the more powerful engine option that was offered, the 4.7-liter V8, which was a very powerful engine, and that's one thing that's truly missed with the current 4Runner. This really is one of the last body-on-frame SUVs of this class that has true off-road capabilities. Nissan with the Pathfinder moved over to a unibody-based crossover that's pretty much a bigger Murano. The 2011 Ford Explorer also turned crossover, so there are drawbacks. Those two just aren't as capable as their predecessors, but they have independent rear suspension. The advantage to those is that they have a much better ride, but for off-roading it's not as good. This 4Runner has a live axle in back, so that is more ideal for off-roading. But the downside, it makes the ride far more cumbersome. Let's look in the cargo area. This very 4Runner doesn't have a powered lift kit. I'm just unlocking it for precaution. There's a button right behind the molding. And take a look at this generous cargo area. Third row is folded down flat, of course. I have one side of the second row also folded down. Remember, the second row is 60-40 split fold. No, it's not magic. I went ahead and folded the other seat. You can definitely fit many things, even a love seat. It will be a pinch, though. The second row isn't perfectly flat with the third row. It has a small incline. Down to this side, we'll run into the 120 volt 400 watt power outlet and a 120 watt power outlet. Little storage cubby in there, and towards this side we don't have anything else, just jack storage. Hooks which can be used to strap down objects. Now I folded that side of the second row up again. I'm going to show you the second row and the third row seat later in the tour. I do like how the rear wiper to the liftgate is hidden under the spoiler wing. Reminds me of Range Rover. Now you can also lower the rear glass. Just twist the key like so, and the glass will just lower itself. You can also raise it up by twisting the key the other direction too. New this year are those LED taillights. And in front we now have these projected halogens. Unfortunately they're not LEDs like the Corolla or HIDs. Below we have the fog lights, turn signal indicators on the mirrors. Take a look at the window sticker. You'll see all the details of this 4Runner, paint finish, where it was manufactured, 17 city, 21 highway, crash test scores, all of the standard equipment. If you want to read everything, just pause the video. And up here, a few more options. So this very 4Runner totals at $39,380. Pretty pricey. Take a look inside. Now this interior pretty much remained the same since 2010. It has a more utilitarian look to it over its predecessor, which had a dashboard that was more rounded out and whatnot. I'm liking the two-tone color of these seats and the white stitching. It's actually vinyl. They just did a very good job of making it look like leather. The seat is powered and we can adjust for more thigh support. As you can see, the seat lifting up. Powered backrest and lumbar support. The door panel is well padded here on top, throughout the sides, armrest as well. Runs all the way up to here to this little tray or pocket, whatever you want to call it. The master window switch is yay high. It's not really a very comfortable place to operate. Anyways, this is the window lock, door locks. All four windows have auto up and down functions. Door pocket downgrades to a grainy plastic. And we have a cup holder down. But fortunately, the rest of the door panel is of pretty good qualities. Now, the key fob is integrated lock, unlock, and panic. Now, as a reminder, this interior isn't all new. The majority of it was designed in 2010, so it is familiar to some of you all. But there is one minor difference, and it's right here in the center. Toyota recently introduced Entune to the 4Runner, so they had to redesign the center stack a little bit. These seats are quite comfortable, very supportive on the backrest. The lower section is a little bit on the flat side. The cushioning is soft, so it is tolerable. There's decent thigh support despite not there being an extension. Legroom is adequate, and the cabin itself is very wide. My shoulders are far away from the pillar. Now, Toyota took a step backwards with the interior quality, mainly on the dashboard. Previous generation had a padded dashboard, as opposed to this. It's a hollow plastic, and it's been like that since the 2010 redesign. Though the coating that they used on the plastic has a rubbery feel to it, or it could be the texture. And it's that way throughout the entire dashboard. There's nothing soft to the touch at all throughout this entire dashboard. There's no latch, but a button. And you can see how the glove compartment just drops open. The lid, I mean. The lid is damped, and there's a latch on each side, so if you took this 4Runner on rough terrain, the lid shouldn't flap around. Going back to the dashboard, we'll find the 1980s style clock, the hazards right here in the center. Once again, we meet Toyota's Entune system. It's the same deal as we've seen in the Highlander, RAV4, Corolla, and Tundra that I've recently toured. It's just extremely easy to use and self-explanatory. The touchscreen is very quick. As you saw, barely any lag at all, responsive. Right now I'm in the full screen shot of the radio. Let's go back to apps, just touch over here, boom, I'm in that screen where all your apps are. You can find traffic alerts, weather alerts, maintenance, phone book, messages I'm assuming for text messages, and navigation. Let me show you the map right now. Yeah, it's very clear and crisp, bright, and somewhat colorful actually, and you can zoom in of course, just to get a more detailed readout. Let's get out of there, and let me give you a shot of the radio again. Here's our sources, and we'll see AM, FM, XM satellite radio. The CD tile is shaded out, I'm assuming because there's no disc inside. It can accept MP3s, of course, USB, Bluetooth, auxiliary, video. This really doesn't have an upgraded sound system, seems to be the stock speaker setup. And I almost forgot that this thing also has HD radio. Here in the corner, we have the micro SD card slot. As soon as you try to pry off this lid, one thing I don't like is how it presses against the button on top. Yeah, we have the micro SD card slot. The same exact thing you'll find in your phone, so that's pretty interesting. Let's put that back. Now, the climate control to this very 4Runner isn't complex at all. It's just these three knobs. It's not dual zone. It doesn't have an automatic function or anything. Just fan speeds where you want it to blow and the temperature. This is for the rear defogger and for the heated mirrors, air recirculation, and this is again where you turn the compressor on or off. Down below we'll have another pocket, the USB and aux jack, power outlets, another cubby down below, one cup holder. This is where you engage the four-wheel drive, the high and low range. The rest of the center console is a plastic finish as well, just as the dashboard is. This is for the heated seats. Both the driver and passenger benefit from that. And this is to power down the glass on the liftgate. It's been a 4Runner thing for decades. So I mean, it's cool. I mean, if you have big dogs, they can just jump out through the glass right there. Or if you just want the air to pass right through. Just regardless, it's a cool thing. We have the 5-speed automatic with manual shift mode. There's no paddles behind the steering wheel. As soon as we put it into reverse, we'll see the backup camera with rear cross-traffic alerts. Put it back into park. The shift knob itself is coated in vinyl around the sides, at least we have that. Not a fan of this plastic cap. Just takes away the premium feel to it as opposed to the rest of the shift knob. The steering wheel is leather wrapped, stitching, side bolsterings, has these perforated inserts here Has a great feel, and it's nice and thick. Controls here for the infotainment screen. You can see how I'm fluctuating everything just touching that navigation pad. Volume control, hands-free controls, and this fluctuates the display within the instrument cluster. As I press it, we'll get a digital readout to the vehicle's speed, average MPGs, distance to empty. Below we have an outdoor thermometer, and the odometer is just that. This 4Runner has only 62 miles on it. Power mirror controls, panel dim. This is the on and off switch for those outlets in the cargo area, and this is for the heated wiper. The headliner somewhat feels like a bulletin board, but it's mildly padded with this cloth. Dome light, sunroof shade. Let's leave it open. Map lights. The HomeLink garage door opener, and this is the dome light on and off switch, so these lights will illuminate when the doors open. This slides open the sunroof, and you don't need to hold it down, it closes automatically. The switch beside makes the sunroof tilt, like so. And a pouch for your sunglasses. The rearview mirror dims. The sun visor is padded nicely, it's very sturdy. Mirror and vanity light. Take a look at the back seat. The materials on the door panel are identical as in front, no difference. Everything here is padded down to the door pocket, and we have the same little pouch there too. Now with the other side folded up, we'll have use of the center armrest right there. This portion is very padded. Pop this lid and we'll make use of this cup holder. And let me duck down over here for a moment. You can see these bars. That means that the seat can roll back and forth. Right now it's all the way back. Other side as well. Now remember, I'm 6'1" and I have the seat adjusted to where I prefer. Legroom right behind it is just enough. My knees are barely touching right there, barely any clearance. But it's adequate overall for 4 adults of 6 feet in height. Thigh support is lacking somewhat, and this seat is on the flat side. It's not supportive at all. You can see my legs are just up in the air here. And behind the center console, we'll run into the rear AC. You have no controls at all. You can only close it off. It's all controlled with the front climate control. We have these power outlets down here. So let's get this side of the third row up. You just need to pull on this latch. And it folds up like so. And this is for the headrest. But there's a little bit more to it. This is just the backrest. There's also the bottom section to the seat as well. I'll show you a better view of that from the second row. You saw how it rolled forward, and that allows for easier entry into the third row. Now the bottom cushion is just tucked underneath. Just pull over here, and that was it. Now we have a third row. I have no headroom at all. I'm literally ducking down, and I don't think I can fold this second row seat back all the way. There's just no room. My leg is just pinched over here onto this side, which is up. So yeah, this is clearly for children, not for adults at all. Now to make everything collapse back into place, just pull on this latch, and it just tucked itself, but we need to go around to tumble the backrest. The headrest will tumble down as soon as you pull on this strap. And to fold down the backrest, that's all it is to it. Just folds right back down. The 4-liter dual overhead cam V6. It's been around since 2003, and it truly has been a great engine to Toyota since then. Makes 270 horsepower and 278 foot-pounds of torque. Lots of torque. And that is a decent figure for a 4-liter 6-cylinder engine. Very smooth engine, and with the door closed, it's still nice to listen to. Let's commence this test drive. This is my first time ever driving this generation of 4Runner. I've driven plenty of the previous generation of 4Runners, the 2003 to 2009 models. I know those like the back of my hands. Yeah, first impressions, it feels just like its predecessor. The steering wheel is a little bit more firm than before. One complaint I had with its predecessor was just the immensely light steering wheel. I hated driving these at highway speeds. The thing wanted to veer all over the place, which I hated so much, and it involved constant correcting like this. But yeah, the way the engine and transmission communicates, it's identical. Sounds the same, performs the same. This thing has a little bit more horsepower than the ones I've drove. The newest I've ever driven was a 2007 model, actually. Since we're in Cleveland Heights, I have no place to really nail this thing. I'll try to go the same route as I took the Tundra I drove recently. Transmission is silky smooth. Toyota definitely needs to bring in the 6-speed automatic. There's lots of benefits to be had with this 6-speed transmission. It would improve acceleration and would help the 4Runner deliver better fuel economy on the highway especially. Alrighty, hopefully I can do a mild little kick down on this road I'm going to turn. This is where I started having a little bit of fun with the Tundra last time. To be honest, after that little kick down, the older 4Runner felt a little bit more sprinty. This one just felt heavy. There is a need for more power, and it's unfortunate there's no other engine more powerful than this one. I think this truck deserves it. This 4Runner can definitely use that extra gear, more powerful engine, or both. Either of those alone would help improve acceleration. I was just floored. I didn't go all through first gear as I have traffic in front of me, but it really does take a while for this thing to get going. That's really my main complaint. Aside from that, the ride itself is well cushioned. I mean, it's not choppy at all. You can definitely feel the live axle and back jumping around, though. But the thing that's nice here is that this just doesn't feel like that rough, tough truck that you may have experienced from the 80s and 90s. It's actually well done. This really does take me back to 2003 because it really doesn't feel all that improved at all, at least in terms of performance. Maybe the mid-range V8 motor found in the Tundra, the 4.6 liter V8, that engine possibly would have been golden here, or maybe adding some turbochargers to this motor. That's just brutal to listen to. Considering that there was a better option, people like me will complain. But if you don't care about speed, this motor will be sufficient for most. It wasn't meant about being a race car. It's what it has under its sleeve. The off-road capability that this thing has, probably best in class. So if you're buying the 4Runner for that purpose, then hey, you cannot go wrong with this truck. You're still getting your money's worth, and it's just one of the few cars out there that are as hardcore as it is. So if you're in the Cleveland area and you happen to be in the market for a Toyota, Scion, or Honda, come on down to Motorcars Toyota. And don't forget the free lifetime powertrain warranty, only available at Motorcars. You can't get that in any other Toyota dealership in the area. So anyways, YouTube, thanks for watching, and hope you all enjoyed this tour.